What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Bike Tyson, and you're now tuned in to Bike Tyson Life Cycles. We have reached in, y'all. It's the end of riding season 2024. This is the finale. So anybody that lives in the DMV area know about the DMV Rideout 2024 Big Group Ride. So what that is that every year it's a group of guys that host this organized ride out. And when I say organized, meaning, they got the permits and all that stuff. You get police escorts and all that. You know, is that type of organized ride? Think of it like when people have a marathon, how they block off roads and stuff like that. So this was kind of like a big parade route of the Beltway, which is about a 30-mile radius that the route is all highway, and it's being led by like four tow trucks. We got camera cars and all that good stuff. So at the beginning, everybody has a group chat. Everybody has some kind of social media where, you know, they organize, their group and say, hey, we're going to meet up here and go to the ride out. So in this case, one of my Facebook groups, motorcycle groups that I'm in, said, "Hey, we all gonna meet down here at the National Harbor of in DC, uh, and we gonna just ride out together." So it was about a good 20, 25 of us that met at the meetup spot. Kickstands was up around like 10ish, I guess, and we were riding out. So the ride out was cool. You know, everything went according to plan. Of course, you always got the latecomers, but hey, they ended up, catching up and all that good stuff. Um, the thing with these group rides, people need to understand this had to be about, I want to say, between 800 and 1,000 bikes. Now, think about that for a second. Now, the max speed you were going possibly like 50, 60 miles an hour at best. This is not a speed race, it's the big group ride. Now, you got to be cognizant of these group rides because, again, like I said before, you don't know how these people ride. You don't know, who don't pay attention, who are skill riders, who are stunt riders, who are novice. So you always got to be alert at all times. Use signals. Look twice before you switch over lanes. All that good stuff. So this was just the beginning. We heading down to the actual meetup spot, which is the DMV ride out, which was in Woodbridge, Virginia. Um, and again, bikes were coming from all over the place. I think I seen some that said they were coming from South Carolina, maybe North Carolina, of course, Virginia, Maryland, DC, shit, maybe West Virginia too. Who knows? But it was a good turnout, and I went last year too. So every year is always a good turnout. But here's the thing: uh, I never make it the whole route. Now, this is two times in a row I didn't make the whole route. Uh, you'll as we go further in this video, you'll see why I didn't make it. But this is just us going to the actual meetup, and we were just riding in a group. Me, my boys, and they had a couple of backpacks with them. So hey, we was just like, hey, we all here for the ride, and the whole goal is ride your own ride, get home safe, and that's the plan. That's a successful ride to me. Have ride, have your fun, and then get your ass back home. Because one thing I will say in this finale is that over the course of this 2024 season, there has been some fatalities. There has been many accidents that I've been witness to, and that's never a good thing. I mean, people got families, kids, all that good stuff. People rely on them, so you know every time a fallen soldier go down, you think about the families, you think about, what was left behind, how much more life they had in them, all that good stuff. And it's just a tragedy that you see people that you know or people that you know of going down or possibly not making it at all. And condolences out to those families that had to go through that. So with that being said, when you out on twos, it's a gift and a curse. I mean, again, when I get on my bike, yeah, I always be like, listen, man, ride safe, be cognizant of everything, be alert. Like my antennas are up at all times. I don't care if I'm on a highway or just, riding the regular streets. So I always want to be mindful of my surroundings, any, foolishness that's going on. I try to stay away from it, so on and so forth. Sometimes, Mother Nature has his ways of, you know, making things a little difficult. Rather that's, you riding in the rain or shit. Right now we in October and it's deer season. Bambies are out. So if you ride back roads, you got to look out for those deers because you don't want to hit one because them things they don't budge, especially them big buck ones. So you got to be careful of those type of things. Also, I've seen people, go down, and these are skilled riders that even go down. I mean, it could be just one false move. It could be some, slick spots on the road. Who knows? It could be a multitude of things. So all I'm saying is be careful out there at all times. Um, we had a good ride going down to Woodbridge though. Again, I got some good shots. So what you'll see in these videos is that I have a front camera and I have a back camera. Um, I need to invest in a 360 camera to be honest with you, but hey, this is what I'm working with, and hopefully you get the gist of what's going on. As you can see, you'll see, the rear view of my crew behind me and the front view, of who was leading the actual group. So shout out to Amar who put on the actual group ride. He's part of the Young Guns Motorcycle Club. Of course, I'm cool with a lot of other motorcycle clubs like Street Envy, Street Soldiers, Gun Runners, and the Young Guns. So those are pretty much the core motorcycle crews that I know of and I rock with. Um, so, like I said, we all run in some of the same circles, and it's always a good vibe when everybody's around. So that's my whole thing. This community of bike life is definitely, therapeutic for not just myself, but for, other people who just like common, who share the same common interest in motorcycles. So this is just part, the first part of the DMV ride out of us going down to the actual meetup spot with everybody, and you'll see it start getting flooded as about a minute basically. And like I said, people coming from all over, and you had different riders. You had your cruisers, you had your trikes, the three wheeler bikes, and the slingshots. You had your stunt riders, you had your speed racers, and you probably just had your chill groups. You know what I mean? So again, it's definitely a big community where you could do a lot of networking. Uh, Gained a lot of new friends and people that just share the same common characteristics that you do when it comes to bikes. So enjoy this video. We about to start getting into the actual ride so you can see how clustered it was, I guess you could say, just from takeoff. So let me just show you what we got going on. Okay, let's get into how this whole uh let's call it the bullshit started. All right. Now, this was the takeoff, right? As you can see, there's hundreds, maybe 1,000 bikes out in this parking lot. And the first part of the takeoff, you got to understand, you trying to fit damn near hundreds of bikes into one lane, right? So this is where the clusterfuck done started already. So this is where it gets tough because I know with some people, they'll be like, "Yo, we going to fall back, let that crowd go." Like everybody always say that prior to this ride that we going to chill. We don't know how people ride. We going to stay in the pack of people that we know that knows how to ride and who we ride with, right? Yeah, that's the intention all the time. But as soon as this shit start, shit goes start going left, right, up, down, side to side. It's crazy because we say the same thing. We was like, all right, yo, we gonna stay in the pack. We all try to stay together. You know what I mean? So you don't have nobody cutting us off, doing this, doing that, right? So as we going to take off, again, the tow trucks are leading and you got to stay behind them. But this cluster of trying to fit into one lane, this is where accidents just start to happen. And maybe I didn't catch him on camera, but this is what I will say. There was a lot of accidents that was going on, and I almost ended up in one. One of my guys ended up in one. And it shit got crazy. All right. So I'm trying to debate if I should show that footage. But I haven't decided yet. But what I will say, I just wanted y'all to get the gist of the DMV Rideout 2024. As you can see, it's a lot of us. We all trying to stay, together, and that's not always the case. So as we coming onto the on, like when we were coming onto the on ramp, you see the cluster, and now it's just a matter of, all right, let's start getting used to this shit. I mean, riding close, look at your mirrors, turn your head, like know your surroundings. That's what I would say. Because again, you got different riders, different skill levels, so on and so forth. That shit can get uncomfortable. And like I said, we were just going with the flow of traffic, staying in our lane, trying to make sure no bullshit was going on. And this is what it comes to. So definitely, I was just like with my crew, I was like, let that first terror group go first. Let that cluster kind of, settle in. And I was just like, all right, it's go time for us. And everything was cool. Like I said, as you can see, I have two camera shots. I have a front camera and I had the back camera, so you get to see the gist of formation of how we were just riding, making sure we kept a nice safe distance where if somebody was the hard break, we got enough time to maneuver. So that's what it came down to. And we were just riding and vibing for the most part. And I know with most people like myself, I got speakers inside my helmet. So I just be listening to my music, just kind of just vibing and riding at the same time, but still being alert and aware of what's going on around me. Um, I know they had a camera car. I know they had other people taking the 360 camera videos. People got GoPros. So you're gonna see a lot of different what's the word? A lot of different footage from different people cameras of the ride. So this is just my vantage point, my viewpoint from it. And like I said, it was cool. Now, as I said before, this is my second year going, right? And for some reason, I never make the whole ride. And the reason why I never make the whole ride is because there's always an accident that's going on. And it kind of just spoils, the fun of the ride. And in this case, we were riding, and I don't think. Well, let's just say this: there are cars that don't know what's going on, right? So when they see a bunch of motorcycles, either some catch road rage, some just don't, get nervous, and it can cause a lot of things to go on. So in this one case, and again, I don't know if I'm gonna release that footage or not. There was a car. All right, so I'm gonna put it so I don't incriminate nobody. There was a car that caught road rage, right? And I don't know what was, the the what's the word? I don't know what made him do the shit that he did, I guess. And I can say one thing: he fucked around and found out if you do this bullshit and had this road rage with a bunch of motorcycles, shit gonna go left for you, right? And I think that's what happens. So there was a road rage guy in a car that decided that he wanted to switch lanes, go around bikes, basically be disrespectful, I guess you could say, of what we would call, a asshole driver. I guess you could say it. I'm trying to watch how I preference this in my words, right? But this car thought, okay, you don't own the road. You on two wheels. I'm on four. I'm in a cage. You're not, so I'm more safe. Okay, gotcha. Which in most cases you are correct, right? But this is where he fucked around and found out. So he decided to have a little bit of road rage and kind of cut off bikes and stuff like that. So as what most bikers would do, they got pissed, and when they got pissed, they started fucking with him. And what I call fucking with was and this was a nice car. Let's just say, all right. I know once that car caught that road rage, a couple bikes got mad at him and basically broke both of his side mirrors, put some dents in his car from kicking it while riding. And I know they tried to box him in at one point, and it caused some accidents. So the gift and the curse with that is that one, he got what he deserved, but two, on the second hand, as bikers, listen, man, we don't have that security or four walls, so that could have been a a fatality. It could have been, it was an accident. So sometimes, what's the best word I can say? Just sometimes you got to just leave well enough alone. Just let them go. And I know it's hard to do that. As men, our egos and pride get in the way, and when you feel like somebody is disrespecting you, you gonna confront it, which I get. I totally get it. So in this case, like I said, even though the car was in the wrong and the car is what sparked it, it led to, his side mirrors getting fucked up and some dents in his car. But here's the kicker. Now, this is where it kind of went from 0 to 100 real quick. So I can't. All right, I don't want to incriminate nobody. There were guns that were brandished while on this ride, which kind of sparked some panic, or I would say people get into self-defense mode or something like that. So I think what happened was, and from my vantage point, was a gun got brandished where somebody could see it, and it was like, all right, you want to take it to that level? Let's go there. And it sparked um a whole fiasco, melee, whatever you want to call it. All right. Luckily, it was no shots fired or anything like that. But when people pull a gun, you know how they say, if you gonna pull it, you better use it, because you showing it like, all right, my nigga, that ain't cool. And and the thing is that the actual driver of the car was a officer, and I think that's what kind of what's the word? Kind of just I guess it kind of just threw people off, because one, he was being an asshole, but you know how people say, he an asshole with a badge. You know how you got those tough guys, they stand behind the badge because they're a cop and all that. But if they were regular people in the streets, they'll be straight pussy all day. I'm just gonna say it. You could tell they just a bitch in real life, but because they stand behind that badge, they got several privileges, and most people don't want to deal with the whole court system problems and all that. So that's what I think uh sparked a lot of the chaos, I would say, because again, this motherfucker was was definitely being an asshole. But like you said, he fucked around and found out, and now I don't know what transpired afterwards, after state troopers pulled him over. Um, I even talked to him, so I think at the end of the day, it came down to just somebody gonna have an insurance claim to file. That's all I can tell you, because you had to be there to know what went on. And like I said, without really incriminating anybody, I didn't want to just start naming names and pointing out shit and this and that. And that's the video I probably don't want to show yet. Or again, I haven't really determined if I want to edit it up to a point where it's like, all right, you get the gist of what happened without actually seeing it, because again, it's water under the bridge at this point. I mean, ain't really shit nobody can do at this point, because the ones that actually hit his car or broke his mirrors and dented his car up, they took off. So you can't identify them. Most people who ride motorcycles, their tags are tucked, so you can't see. You can't have a trace of who it was or where to investigate at. So it was just a random act of violence, and, that's just what it was. And I'm just sitting in the back recording it. I guess you could say, because again, I had my cameras going. So they always tell you when you ride, and cameras always need to be rolling, because you just never know what happened. And in this case, they were rolling, and again, it sparked a lot of shit, and including myself, because you got to understand, when people are riding and not paying attention, it causes other people uh to crash, because I I'll probably put one part of the video where I almost got into a crash because somebody cut me off, because one, they they deleted their mirrors on their motorcycle, so they ain't even look back. They just jumped to the side, and I had to counter steer and almost hit the guardrail and into a ditch. But luckily, my reflexes was on point, and I saved that motherfucker, because I would have been pissed. Because the one that did it was the same one who was retaliating from the car. So me and him would have probably had a problem along with the car, because then I would have jumped on the car side and been like, "Nah, motherfucker, you ain't paying attention, and you caused me to crash. Now I got a problem with you." So yeah, so that it would have went left again. So again, because again, when you have your bike, you treat your bike like, hey, that's a prized possession. That's almost like your woman in a way. It's like, listen, don't fuck with my baby. Don't fuck with my bike. Don't fuck with my wife. Don't fuck with certain people. You just don't fuck with. And I was just like, I'm that guy. Don't certain things are just off limits, and that's what it is. So, and I think that goes for any man. Like you mess with a person, kids or girlfriend, wife, mother, or my motherfucking motorcycle, I'm gonna feel some type of way about that. And yeah, that's it's going to be a lot of bullshit going on now. So that's what it was. But luckily, I saved it. Thanks to thank you God. That's one, and two, shit. Thank you for my reflexes, cause shit. That's what that's. When you've been riding for a while, you encounter certain things, so kind of know how to deal with it. I didn't panic or anything, and then, like I said, good thing I had some good tires too, cause them things was gripping. So shout out to the Michelin Power Fives, I guess you could say. But yeah, I mean that's just what it came down to, and I was just like, bruh, that was a close call. But at the same time, where I almost crashed, that's where the crash happened with other people who got rear ended and pretty much uh damaged their bike. And like I said, it comes down to now just putting in an insurance claim because nobody can identify who did what to who did who, and that's just how it goes. Sometimes you just got to charge it to the game, and that's just part of the game that we play when we out there, and we do what we do. You got to know that hey, there's consequences to actions, and this was one of them. So, like I said, I'm still contemplating if I should show the other video or not of the actual bullshit that went on and the crash and all this and that. Because I did want to just highlight the ride. And again, it was a cool, fun ride for most people who actually did the whole ride. So, like, if you were in the front, you ain't see none of the shit that happened in the middle, or if you were in the middle, you don't know what was going on in the way back because it wasn't just one accident; it was several. So, again, it's just part of bike life, I guess you could say. And for those who actually did the full ride, congrats. I'm glad y'all had a good time. But mine was cut short again. Like I said, I think I only had about a good 45 minutes into it, I would say. Because once we took off on the Virginia side, it happened on the Maryland side. And here's the funny thing. It happened on the Maryland side right near my exit where I get off to go home. So at this point, I was just like, fuck it. After the whole accident happened, cops called, state troopers, everybody, pretty much vented out of what happened, this and that. The ride was already 45 minutes ahead. So I was like, fuck it. Everybody gone. I'ma just bust this U-turn and head home and watch the game. So that's what I did. Even though my Eagles is on a bye, got home, chill, watch Red Zone, and it was just my typical Sunday of football. So, like I said, it ended up being a good motherfucking day at the end of the day after what happened. So that's the only thing I could say that was good about it was that I got home in one piece, which is always the goal, and I got to watch the rest of my Red Zone football and enjoyed the rest of my day, and still got good footage at the end of the day of the logist of the ride. So I hope y'all like it. And this is the finale, y'all. So like, subscribe, comment, all that good shit. And I may drop the accident scene. Depend on the comments. So drop it in the comments if you want me to release it. And if I get enough of comments, I might release it. So we'll see. So I hope y'all like it. This is the DMV Rideout 2024. I'm Mike Tyson. Enjoy the rest of y'all motherfucking day because this is the last video I'm doing for the season until next season. And yeah, that's just what it's going to be. Peace.